Ist das hier noch Werbung?
Das ist nicht Werbung.
Das
Record.
Nein.
Ich weiß es nicht. Welcome Reckless Wanderers, this is Robert here, and this is my part 4 update for the Blood and Sand Zerker, which finally, unfortunately, has bitten the dust 2 times. Very first time against the famous, infamous red wall of instant death from the Vaal, which I actually never had a problem with, even in rippy maps, but the one map that I ran, which had critical strikes, power charges, and multiple projectiles. Yes, this wall, apparently, the initial spell is a projectile, so if you have multiple projectiles on the map, then you can have multiple red walls on top of each other, and that was then finally something that my little Blood and Sand Zerker could not out-leech, unfortunately. So, yeah, but on the bright side, I did manage to fix my mana problem, which I can show you in a second, once this thing pops. Make sure that we kill this guy, and these guys, and these guys. Just clear up this little battle, and then we can get into the changes. Alright. Oh, there's another one of these. Huh. So are you making them? No, not anymore. Orb of Horizons. Nice. So, as you remember from the last video, I had some serious mana problems, and I tried to solve them via Revelry. And I had no Mana Leech on gear, and I actually started to run Mana Leech as a 6th length in my Tabula Rasa. I ditched Infused Channeling in favor of Mana Leech. Eventually, I ended up finding this chest piece from, I think it was a delve, yeah, out of a delve. Dropped at the very end on an armor node. And yeah, 6-socketed it, 5-linked it, and now I have somewhat more armor, finally, a little bit better resist, and it allowed me to craft this crappy ring, which has 0.31% of physical attack damage leech this mana. And this, finally, even if I don't have Warlord's Markup, is enough, even if there's just one enemy that I can actually, where did I put this on? Here. That I can actually leech mana comfortably without running out of it. So as long as I hit at least one dude with my Cyclone, I'm fine. Obviously, if the dude is Warlord marked, then it's much better, but it doesn't have to be, which also means I could theoretically run curse immune maps, although I don't know if I want this, because then my survivability goes down, because I would have no endurance charges, and I also would have less reach, not no reach, but definitely less leech, so maybe that's not something that's preferable. So let me just quickly skip to the boss and then show you some other changes that I did to the character. Wait, that's something I want to pick up. There's also an Exile here. Let's get all this stuff. The bosses here is probably going to be very interesting. Let's see. This is a crit map, by the way. I couldn't break through his region. But still, he's dead now. Cool. So, other changes that I made, actually... Did I make any other changes? No, I think that's it. I just swapped these two. I still have the same sword. I tried to craft another axe and another sword using fossils and just chaos spamming, but so far no luck yet. So I'm still stuck with it, but fortunately, at least for tier 10 maps, this is the very first tier 10 map that I'm running. The damage is still okay. It's not overwhelming, but it's working comfortably, so I don't have to stress myself out. I can actually just chill a bit. I don't have to rush. Leech is keeping me still alive and monsters still die. Sure, if it's like a tanky rare, then things take a little bit longer, but it's nothing that switching to Bloodstands and popping my Berserk can't fix, or the Vaal Double Strike boys. They can definitely also handle that. So yeah, and on the passive tree, what I did, now that I have Mana Leech, I specced out of Revelry. That's completely unnecessary now. And grabbed all the Impale nodes, which definitely helps in boss fights. I do definitely notice that. And next thing I want to do is grab Executioner, because this gives me even more area of effect if I've killed recently, plus all the damage that I can get. And yeah, that should be it. Next goal definitely needs to be a lab, so that I can get my final ascendancy point. I now have 5 out of 6 lab trials, which means I'm probably able to run Uber Lab in 3 weeks or so, I don't know. And when I can do Uber Lab, probably what I'm going to do, instead of picking the Warcry node, because I actually don't use Warcry anymore, I will experiment with either Rite of Ruin, or if that feels too crappy, I will go into Aspect of Carnage. And since I'm not using a Warcry anymore, I now started using Molten Shell. I'm using that in my Double Strike setup, since right now I don't know where else to put it. Although I guess I could move something down here, and then I have to play around with this. And yeah, I'm activating it manually, and I have it in this setup because it's linked to increased duration. So right now this is giving me a solid almost 5-second buff, and it absorbs a lot of damage, especially if I do pop my granite. My armor definitely right now is not amazing. I could definitely squeeze out something more there. But it's all right to absorb some hits, and this was something that was incredibly necessary as soon as I saw porcupines in maps. So cosmic damage taken in Immortal Call will not protect you anymore against porcupines, because they made that change that Immortal Call only absorbs a fraction of physical and elemental damage, whereas Molten Shell absorbs anything. So any damage that is dealt to you up to a certain maximum, so 10,000 in that case, will be eaten up if you have sufficient armor. And that's right now the only way I can survive against porcupines. And yeah, it's nice also in Delves, like at the very end when shit hits the fan, I just pop that, and then I can be sure that yeah, I'm for a short period of time invincible. Obviously you have the 4-second cooldown after the buff ended, where you are vulnerable, but in that case you can just back up. It's a little bit crappy if you have a map with a lot of pack size, where you have a very big pack of porcupines. It's not very clever to kill the entire pack if it's like, I say, more than 10 porcupines, because they will probably deal a lot more than just 10,000 damage, and you will still just insta-die. So let me just finish up that abyss. Wow, I'm getting like tons of Orbs of Horizons. It's actually amazing. Also here in the abyss, so I had my Molten Shell up there. Made sure that I don't get surprise insta-get by these guys. Can also pop my rage. No, your mana's not gone. You just need to hit one dude. And that should seal the deal. Yeah, so even if I'm standing in the middle of all this crap, I'm barely taking any damage. So I'm very positively surprised. I thought that Berserker is the absolute glass cannon of all the Marauders, and obviously based on the ascendancy it is, but it doesn't prevent you to build it like decently defensively. And yeah, as long as the damage holds up, why not? So I hope to show you the next time how this looks in red maps, and if it still holds up, or maybe the next time I make a video I finally have a better weapon, and I hopefully finally also have Uber Lab completed. And with this wonderful siren outside, I'm gonna say goodbye and see you next time.